Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We are in episode 60 today. In this week's episode, we're going to get to some cigar talk and a little bit of everything else. I got my man Denzel with me, and my name is Jared. And hey, man, we doing it again this week, or we going to take a break from it?
We can take a break. I mean, but if you want to press the issue. Want to press the issue. Some guy named Kirk, and what's my man's name? He's a football player. Where he go? Where my man go? I can't even find him anymore. So we're gonna skip 60.
This is a bye week.
It's a bye week. Here we go.
It's a bye week.
Off season. We're on off season.
We're in the off season at this point in time, but we appreciate y'all still for rocking with us. Hey, man, let's discuss some cigars, man. Let's start it off the right way, man. Let's discuss some sticks, man. What is your stogie of choice today?
All right, man. So went and picked up my stick for the show. I went purely off of the eye test, eye candy. Right? I didn't go with any strategic thing about what I'm looking for or what type of cigar, this and that. Just purely off of eye candy. Purely off of eye candy. And I picked up this beautiful band by EP Korea. It's the Platinum Bash. The 70-year celebration for EP Korea.
Okay.
Right? So to go on a little bit about mine, it's a Dominican origin, Maduro wrapper, Mexican wrapper, Ecuador binder, Dominican filler with Nicaraguan filler as well. So we got a mixed bag with this bad boy. It's a beautiful dark stick. Nice Maduro wrapper that we got going on.
Dope. All right. So for me, I'll go with what I got here. I have a Liga Privada by Drew Estate, Papas Fritas. I got the H99 here. Yeah, I got this. And shout out to the brother that said, check this out also. Because I didn't go in expecting to get it, but once I got to the register buying something else, I noticed it. It was right there at the counter. I said, hey, man, let me add one of those to what I'm doing. And I wasn't going to smoke this on the show today, but what happened is we are... we're a little pressed for time. And because this is a little petite Corona, little cute thing right here, I figure it's time appropriate. So we're going to roll with this one for today.
I like it. Let's go with it.
I'm going to give you a little bit of specs. There's a lot of specs on it. Actually, this apparently this was released in June, so it's fairly new to the market. Not the Papas Fritas, but this H99 variation of it is new to the market. Nicaraguan origin. We got a Connecticut Corojo wrapper with a Mexican San Andres binder and a Nicaraguan Honduran filler. So we got a whole lot going on, man.
Yeah, we looking almost the same here. Yeah. So we both got a little blendini going on here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's like we went to the Willy Wonka of cigars, and they hooked us up with some craziness.
Yeah,
these everlasting gobstoppers. We'll see what it do.
Go ahead and get it lit.
I didn't go straight cut on this. I got a nice little interesting twist at the top of this thing, man. I'm gonna go ahead and snip that off though, because we don't need the 90s rat tail. Yeah.
Got no rat tail. Not the 90s. We gonna take it back with the retro with the rat tail. Hey,
yeah, man.
I had
this rat tail though.
I had one.
I did too. Mine didn't get as long as I wanted it to get, but I had one. Like the kids that could get theirs all the way down their back, I admired it because I had one that just kind of, if I pulled it out,
mine came
right there.
Yeah, like midway down the neck.
Yeah,
I had mine.
I had mine. A little tight one. No hang time.
Oh man, where did that come from? Like these styles in the '90s, we look back and we love them because they're dope now. It's nostalgic. But who? I'm gonna just have a rat tail. You know what I'm saying? Is anybody gonna bring it back? And you're like, things always come back around. Is that one of them things that's gonna come back? The rat tail?
It definitely has not come close to coming back yet.
We almost have 40 years, 30 plus years.
It's due. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened by now. And they brought a lot of our cuts and styles back with the hair and everybody wearing their hair long, but that's not one of them. The shag has come back in Dallas. I don't know if it ever left, but it's come back in the Dallas area. Maybe it never left, but that's rat tail. Get no love, man. Don't nobody care about that.
No love for the rat tail. Come on now. If we're gonna go 90s and we enjoy the 90s and it's nostalgia and throwback for everybody, let's keep it all the way 90s. It's not pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back the hammer pants. So leave that where that's at.
That gotta stay.
All right, so I told you before we started, I only had 3 matches. Match number 1's already gone. I got a little uneven burn, so I'm going in for match number 2.
You better make that work. Cause truth be told, if that thing go out mid-show, you done for the show if you use all 3.
You're right. Good point. I'm glad you mentioned that.
I'm sure you got a big laying around somewhere you gonna whip out behind our backs and not tell us.
I thought I had it in my pocket. What's the car key? I came out here to start the episode, and I'm like, all right, yeah, got a big in my pocket. I'm gonna go pull it out. That's the car key. So if I do have to go run and get a big, better put the show on pause. But hopefully not. All right, so I got a little uneven burn. Hopefully it'll even out as we go. But not from the usual.
I'm disgusted with how quick you are to go to a big, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Let's just let that be known. Let's not just gloss over that. You know how easily it is for you to go to a big. Where is your torch at?
Well, honestly, I think most of my torches are packed up already. I think they got packed away. So
how many months they've been packed up, brother? You've been sliding a big to the show every week.
No. I've had my torches.
You've been matches. You've been cedar sticks, but I've been seeing you slide to a big way more than I see you slide to a torch.
I don't know. We got to run the tape back. Let's go back, check the footage. I'm pretty sure I had my torch matches. My torch lighters on hand. I can't remember for sure. So you might have a point. I don't know. I usually have a couple of them. Maybe I've been low on butane. I'm gonna blame it on the butane.
That's possible. That's possible, man.
We'll leave with that. Any first thoughts about that? The H99 you got there. What's your first thoughts looking like?
Very, very pleasant. It's coming across like a medium to full cigar. As far as the actual smoke, it's got a good aroma that's coming off of the smoke. It's got a sweet, spicy thing going about it, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's all well done. So far, that's about all I can say.
Okay.
Very, very rich. Those notes are rich though that are popping out. You know what I'm saying? But it's done in a way where it's not like overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? But it's still very noticeable, the sweet and the spice element that's coming through together. But that's kind of what I'm picking up on right off the bat.
Okay.
I hadn't noticed anything else.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of harshness right now. And this is almost in line to where I kind of wanted to go with this episode, which is, I guess it was meant to be. I did want to try a more bold, spicy cigar. I wanted to give one a good go for the episode and just finally step into that realm. Because I mentioned a couple episodes ago, like, is my palate starting to get complex? Like, am I able to hold or handle a certain level cigar now? I remember I had some bold, spicy cigars in the past and literally took 1 or 2 puffs and had to sit it down like, no, I can't do it anymore. That's it. That's it for that cigar. And I wonder, and I want to try it out on an episode and see, hey, have I elevated my tolerance level? Can I handle a more bold, in-your-face cigar? Or is it just not my palate at all? And this so far, it's coming off as a bold cigar. No, it's just getting lit. And this lot where you get most of your harshness from is in that very beginning. But this might be right on the pace of what I was looking for to see how can I handle. Yeah. I want to know. Am I at that level of, cigar tolerance? I guess for lack of better words.
I'm gonna guess and say that you probably are or close to being, because you got to look at even your alcohol palate has changed over the years. Where you know what I'm saying. So I would imagine that your cigar palate has definitely got to a point where it can tolerate that and probably even enjoy it with the right stick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right stick, right pairing. Yeah. So far, like I don't usually talk about the taste that I get off of we usually when we talk about taste, we usually talk about the palate, and then when we talk about the lips and like whatever you're getting, like when you taste the tip of the cigar. When we're doing flavor cigars, but on this one, I'm getting a lot of pepper right on the lip, like right on the wrapper. That's what it seems like I'm getting right here. Similar to what you would get with a flavor stick, like a Fat Bottom Betty, that sweetness that you would get off the on the wrapper, like right on the lips. I'm getting the same thing with pepper right now, and it's pretty bitter.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how the smoke is going to be. This is a 70-year celebration. I don't know. Is this a celebratory stick?
Depending on what you like, man. If you like Sour Patch candy, maybe. But if you into jelly beans, I don't know. Yeah, if you into hot tamales, there you go. Just depending on what your thing is.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you this real quick. Quick little tech talk. So my son asked me, "Hey, Dad, do you think they got the technology for flying cars?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do." This is before the announcement, right? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they had this technology probably a decade ago, if not more, right? And he asked me this question maybe a few weeks ago, about a month ago or so. And then fast forward 2 weeks later, I start seeing on the news, boom, flying cars are a thing. They're out.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was, when I argued this to him, was I'm pretty sure they had this technology for several years, but the rollout of it, how do you regulate that? What's the infrastructure of it? Like, everybody just have access to cars, and then we're just going around flying, doing whatever we want to do. What's your traffic situation? Somebody park on top of somebody else's car? You know what I'm saying? How do you ticket that?
Right.
So that was my whole argument to it. And then come to fast forward, it was just a wow to me to see, like, hey, they actually do have that technology, and they're talking about the rollout of it. I don't know how long it's going to take, because the whole thing that I'm concerned with and what I was interested in was how do you control the infrastructure around that capability? You got any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be I think figuring that aspect out is probably going to be the biggest hold up to its release, more so than the technology itself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Technology is evolving so fast. I'm sure that's not their concern so much. Of course, I'm sure there's certain safety precautions that they're double and triple checking and quadruple checking before it gets to that point. But I think the regulation of it and the infrastructure of it is the biggest thing. And that's going to be huge, because airspace is, we take it for granted, but that's important. It's a lot of stuff going on in the air.
You don't want somebody just flying their car right over your house, right?
Yeah.
You're all barbecuing and somebody just right through your backyard. It's like, yo.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, because now you're like you say, you're potentially invading people's privacy. Of course, the air itself, the air quality can be affected depending on how these cars function and what they're putting out into the ozone. Then you have planes and how it's going to affect that, and the signals that come from all these things. You know what I mean? I have a drone, and there's regulations on using your drone. There's certain areas you can't fly it in. There's certain levels that you can't go beyond. They can ticket you or shoot it down if they catch that you flew above a certain height. So it's a lot of different rules. Now, a lot of people break these rules, but they exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the toughest part, getting that figured out. You know, now when I wouldn't doubt if we're 5 to 10 years away from it. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, you know what I'm saying?
5 to 10 years from the rollout of it, like it actually being something that's available to the average consumer.
I don't know to the average consumer, but
or let's just say
on some level,
to some consumer level.
Yeah, to some consumer level, whether it's you can rent it through these companies who have been given permission to do this. You know what I mean? Like where it's like the new Uber, like Uber has permission to have self-flying cars in the air. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
You know
I mean,
what?
like we look how quick the self-driving cars came out. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're pushing that forward quickly. Like, so it's coming. It's coming. It'll be out. The fact they let us know about it, let me know it'll be out.
If it is released, I think it probably would be only available to like corporations like that. Like say now it's only Uber or whatever equivalent to an Uber would be, some kind of taxi system to where this flying vehicle is only released to this particular entity for transportation. Nobody else has this. Like nobody just has a rail car. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In the garage, and they can pull it out and just put it on the railway. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has a bullet train in the garage.
That's what we're far from, is from where we all living like the Jetsons driving around in the air. We're far from that, I think, but I don't think we're far from people just going through the air. But it's going to be regulated where you have to be certified, you have to meet certain requirements in order to do that. Just like,
and that's another thing.
Brown, like
he was asking me. And it was interesting hearing this from a young mind. He's only 14. So we talked about this before, like we've been on that cusp of seeing technology shift. Like we're that generation of seeing that jump, that quick exponential growth into technological advancements. And then seeing him having these questions, and he's, born right in the middle of it, and he's just, all right, we're just going with whatever life throws at me because I don't know anything else. Or whatever else I do know is very small as far as what I'm used to, because I don't know much.
Yeah.
I haven't been around for 14 years.
Tech been exploding his whole life.
Tech been exploding since he was born.
Because I think he was born the year the iPhone came out, right? Or somewhere around there, around that time frame.
Yeah, 09. 09. So so he was right around that time. You're born into this tech
wave,
the explosion, right? So he was asking me, like, how far do you feel like we are from, like, with the Jetsons? I said, like, look, man, I think we're pretty close. And then, like, drawing in that flying car thing, like, we got the technology for the flying cars. It's just not everybody's going to, because how do you regulate it? But outside of that, we are living the Jetsons. Just the fact that we're doing this podcast, is one part of that whole Jetsons idea.
Yeah, most definitely. The fact, like you say, that's a great point. We take this for granted. We're not in the same state, city, you know what I mean? Like, and we are sitting here having communication, we're smoking a cigar together. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, and we're thousands and thousands of miles away from one another.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
This fresh off the Jetsons,
but we're hundreds, almost 1,000 miles.
Probably might be almost 1,000. Yeah. But outside of you being able to jump through the screen like old boy's boss used to do.
Yeah. Outside of that, we doing it. You know what I'm saying?
and don't be shocked if that's something that's coming soon. Like your hologram can jump through the screen.
That's what it'll be. It'll be my hologram before it'll ever be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you want to go get real quirky and get into some of that whole world, I mean, even scientists have an idea how to do stuff like that with the theories behind wormholes and stuff, So, I mean, if they ever get it figured out within our lifetime, at some point they probably will, but I don't know if we'll be around. But if they figure that out, it'll be a lot of teleportation. You know what I mean? Because you just really stepping through the wormhole to go to where you want to go. So, but that's that sounds kooky as of today. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds kooky, but fast forward 20, 30 years. I mean,
hey guys, we figured out how wormholes work.
Yeah. This sound kooky 20 years
25
ago.
years ago, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm gonna be able to have a cigar with my boy, and we gonna do this thing, and then we're gonna broadcast this to the world just with a press of a button. That's kooky. You talking about? You can't do that. Yeah. Nah, man, that's weird. That's weird. Nah. Yeah. And here we are. So like, yeah, I think a lot of times like we get so used to the technology advancements as it happens, as it rolls out, especially those who are born into it, to think how weird this world really truly is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That we actually are engaging in.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff we take for granted. You know what I mean? Like we just act like it's normal now, but it's not normal. You know what I mean? Like, so I was I've said on the show before that I do voiceover work and whatnot. So I was in a session with a brother, and he was talking to me about the whole relative to the strike going on in Hollywood right now with the writers and the actors and whatnot. And he was talking about just the AI and how that's affecting the strike. So he was making the comment that he was asking me how I feel about the AI, if I feel like it's going to replace voiceover actors and stuff like that because of the abilities people have. And then he started showing me certain pictures that he had of that he did himself of different people with AI. He has all this art and portraits that he had put up in his house. And he was showing me how he developed them. He was like, all of these are people. I just put a description of a person in a background, and it gave me these, and now it's art. So, and I'm looking at all the people, I'm like, wow, that's incredible, man. Those people look real. I said, so these people don't exist. These are just make-believe people straight from AI. He said, yeah, this is totally artificial. So he was making, and then he said, you know, what he was, when he showed me that, and I'm looking at it, I'm taking it in, and I'm thinking to myself, he was like, how long do you think it'll be before they replace the actual voice actors? You know, he was like, because I do some of these and the inflections aren't that great. He was like, but there will come a time where they improve on this. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I probably give it another 5 years. He was like, you sure about that? He was like, because he was like, he was telling me I basically have like apps and plugins already that can manually correct it, but it's so difficult to do right now that it's not worth the hassle. But the fact that technology exists for me to actually do it correct.
It ain't going to take 5 years to improve on that.
It ain't going to take 5 years to improve upon that technology and make it where everybody now is willing to take the extra step to do it, to correct it, because software now will correct it and make it more accurate. And it's just like, wow. And then get this with the AI. You know, there were a lot of the actors that were mad because they said, hey, man, we'll give you guys $200 to use your face as background actors. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about that.
They wanted to pay actors $200 to use their face forever as background actors. Yes, to steal your face, and now I got permission to use your face forever for $200. Wow. It's wild.
Now you gotta give me more. You gotta give me more than $200 though,
brother. When he showed me his artwork, it let me know those people were being benevolent by even paying you anything to steal your face.
Because you can steal anybody's face anytime, and nobody even know about it. You can show up in somebody's movie.
Not even that. The way that guy in the session was showing me the artwork he did of make-believe faces out of thin air.
You can just make it up.
I can just make it. I didn't have to pay you nothing and ask to use your face. This is good enough to be a background face. What he had was good enough to be a background face.
If I was to build a crowd of people or whatever, I can just make up faces and make up people to throw into this thing.
And you would have been able to pick out they weren't real because they're not what you're observing. They're not in the forefront of the picture. I'm gonna blur them and sit them in the background anyway. So like the fact that they were even offering to pay you anything makes me say, wow, they were actually being benevolent. They got the technology. They don't even need to pay people $200 for their face. They can just breeze through it and do it.
You know what I just thought about? Well, it's not too related. Well, it's related, but not related to the actor thing. But the ability to create an individual or individuals, you have the ability to pretty much write history as you want to.
Yeah.
You can make up scenarios and people who didn't exist and say they existed and have whole scenarios play out like it's recorded or somebody or whatever quotes from this person and really rewrite history if you wanted to. As generations pass on, you can pretty much make up what you want and it's real. And how would you know how would you know the truth about something that you didn't see? Like we talk about George Washington, Christopher Columbus, all these people that we are taught about. We've never seen them, but then you see that there's portraits that are in existence of them. Like, okay, well that person had this is who that person is because I've seen him. Frederick Douglass. That's his portrait, but it's a real portrait. So this is who this guy is. You learn about him. So now you can make up whoever you want to make up and rewrite history and say this never happened, but this happened. That didn't happen, but this happened. You see this guy right here, and then you can have quotes from him and him giving speeches about something and say that this was the individual who did X, Y, and Z. Create your own history.
Yeah, you can. And nobody be able to know any different. I mean, we're going to be dealing with real life mythology. You can have video of them and everything, you know what I'm saying, doing stuff, and it's going to be hard to know what's what. Like, and that's incredible thought, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to consider the fact that that's on the forefront around us, man. Like,
it's wildness.
And like I said, he had beautiful artwork. I was like, man, you know how much you would have paid an artist to do that same work, and it looks like somebody painted this stuff, and it's just creations of you. And that makes me go back to thinking about the different what's the going to slip in my mind, the term for the online art everybody was so big into, the NFTs.
NFTs, yeah.
Yes. So that's going to become the evolution of the NFTs, and artists like actual painter art, like, you know, my man with the fro on PBS, their industry's in trouble. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Bob Ross. You know what I'm saying? The Bob Rosses of the day.
Because now all you have to do is program art. I don't have to draw it anymore.
I hate that all art is in jeopardy. That's what I hate. Music. I hate about AI. All art is in jeopardy.
Music, painters, sculptures. Like, because you got this 3D printing.
3D printing now with the houses, they're 3D printing houses and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is that disgusts me, because art is really the one thing in history that we always had. Like,
yeah. Every industry that you can think of and every entity that somebody can have an accolade for talent or being a thinker outside of the box and
just using your mind. Yeah.
That's all in jeopardy. It's all in jeopardy. Nothing is going to be needed. I don't need your skill anymore because I can just recreate it.
Yeah. I hate how, and I keep using this word hate purposely and intentionally because I'm very intentional with using this word hate because I don't use it often, but I hate that we are going in a direction where we're going to make ourselves lesser as people. People would never attain being the best version of themselves if we continue down this direction, because talent aside, because most people don't have talent. Most people have a skill. So the ability to create a skill through discipline is no longer going to be necessary. And that's how you become the best version of yourself. Like, whether you go to the gym and you put in work several days a week until you become the best physical version of yourself, somebody got a filter. That's all they care about. As long as I appear to be, I don't have to be. I'll hide and I'll make all my money online. You'll never see that I never attained the highest version of myself. That person to go out and get a degree, I don't need that because Chat GPT give me all the answers. So I never have to go push my brain to the limit. Beethoven, Mozart, them people, if they existed today, people would be like, so what? I will go use this paintbrush on my computer program and type in all that stuff that you did on a computer piano and make it sound good. And now I'm competing with Mozart and Beethoven. You know what I'm saying? Like, wildness, right? Yeah. Da Vinci and all his beautiful artwork and all this stuff. Like, somebody's going to go type in this and create a Mona Lisa through AI. And now, you know what I'm saying? His whole years of figuring out how to get this painting just perfect amounts to nothing because nobody respects it. because they don't know the thought process, the effort. They don't see that he painted over it several times and got to this point where it's a masterpiece because somebody did it in 5 seconds with an algorithm. Like
this whole idea is wild to me, and I'm glad and fortunate to have come up in an era of being in that particular era where you still had to go get it. You still had to go get information for yourself. You still had to apply what it is that you want, like you say, you want to become great at. You actually had to get it by doing. Was no free information. I mean, now granted, by the time we became full adults, then there was free information available, but we were raised in an era where it wasn't just free information. It wasn't just information at your fingertips. You still had to go find information. You still had to go build your building blocks of your brain and your body and thought process and whole mental structure to go and achieve what you need to achieve. Like we were still bred from that. But any child that's born from this point forward, even your teenagers now, like just
there's no initiative to be great. Like there's no initiative.
Why? Like why do I have to go be great? Why do I have to go do anything that's going to cause me to have to exert myself in any capacity, whether it's physically or mentally?
Yeah. Why do I gotta learn to sing? Why do I have to be a good singer? I got auto tune. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll correct all those notes. Like why do I do anything to be good? What difference does it make? Like, why would I go take acting classes and become a great actor when I can go get on reality TV and just be myself and make as much money? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or you get on TikTok and you act like an AI. Have you seen that before?
No, what's that?
It's the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. Is this one particular individual? Her name is called Pinky Doll, right? She's really good at what she does. She locks in and she's focuses, right? So she sits there and she pops popcorn with a flat iron. She puts a popcorn kernel with a flat iron. People throw her gifts and she responds pretty much like a robot, like robotic. And they shoot her, throw some balloons, and she go and pop the balloons, and they put a GG. She say gang gang. If they put a cowboy hat on her on TikTok and give her a gift, she has a little saying for that. She got sayings for everything, and they're coming like back to back to back to back. So she's just jumping from one saying to the next, like she's like an AI. Like she's acting like an artificial person, but she's a real person. But she acts like she's AI generated. Well, I think they call like NPC or something like that.
Yeah, like non-playable characters.
Yeah, that's how she acts. She's a real person, but she acts controlled, right? And people are kind of controlling her with the gifts that they're given. And she sits there with thousands of viewers and makes thousands of dollars every time she go live. Now, she's really good at what she does. She locks in, she's top notch. Like I've never seen anything like this, right? But then now you have other people who mimic it, not as great, like horrible at it, but then they still sit there making thousands of dollars doing it too. It's just, I guess it's maybe a fetish that people might be into, or something that just clicks in people's brain. I mean, it is kind of mesmerizing. You got to snap yourself out of it. Like once you start watching it, like, yo, what the heck am I watching this for 5 minutes? Let me click off of this.
I'm wondering why you watched it enough to be able to describe it. As you describe it, I'm like, why did he watch this? Why did he watch this weird chick like that? Because that's all I can think. But I'm a dinosaur up here though, bro. Like I'm a dinosaur here. So I hear that. I'm like, why he watching this weirdo? Like,
I had to figure it out. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, yo, like a popcorn kernel will pop into popcorn, throw the popcorn out. She grab another one, throw it on the flat iron, sit there with the flat iron, and then just respond to these gifts. And then people are mimicking, doing the same thing, acting the same way. So like mindless entertainment, mindless, or not necessarily mindless.
I got it. You keep saying mindless, and you made me get it. This is a modern day mime, is what she is. Mm-hmm. She's miming modern day.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
That bull from back in the day, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They went out of style, and I guess it's
but they didn't make money like how she making money.
I don't know, man. They had their hat on the corner and they just they tossed something in the hat. You know what I'm saying?
Guarantee they wasn't making G's, man. A day.
But that's because people weird now, man. Like, that's all
what
I'm
saying.
That's this modern day. I'm into, no disrespect if y'all into anime, but man, that's some like, if you, I don't know. I'm about to say,
you gotta look. You gotta. In order to fully understand what I'm saying, you gotta see it for yourself. But it's a way to make money, and people like, okay, why join the military and go have to run all these miles and go and suck it up in life? But I could just do this and make thousands of dollars. I make what you make plus some just to do this on TikTok every now and then. Why am I going to go work at Target and unload these trucks? I'm going to work at KFC and flip this grease.
I seen a clip this morning, actually. Somebody said 4 ways to make $10,000 a month off AI, and they named a couple common ways, but the fourth one is the one that jumped out at me because it was like, wow, that's a thing. Like the first 3 was all, business stuff, like transcribing people's videos into words and making faceless videos that are through automation and all these other little intelligent things of AI. The fourth said you could use AI to create feet pictures and then post them on websites and make money. That was the fourth option. And I said, wow.
I'll take that fourth option.
Take advantage of the perverts and stuff with just fake feet pictures, and they
got to be real feet.
They AI.
I'll take the fourth option.
OnlyFans and have a whole OnlyFans of AI pictures, and people are into this stuff. But that's the same stuff. Like you like we all grown. I'm sure we all been to the porn sites, and you see like the cartoon characters, and the little ads and stuff. Like that's that type of stuff. People that's into that weird stuff, they into this type stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like,
it's money to be made. It's money to be made
off people who into some real weird fetishy stuff, man.
It ain't even got to be real. They just want the image.
Hey, bro, like I'm glad I grew up in a time where I know the difference in eras. This means so much to me to have some old school in me. You know what I'm saying? To be raised by some dudes from the 60s and 70s and even before that. You know what I'm saying? Like having your male grandparents, male grandfathers in your life and your grandmother.
In a time where they only had reality to rely on. And anything outside of reality was a radio or a couple of TV shows. Anything outside of reality. So here's the thing, like what you just described, especially when you're talking about like the people who instill things in you, were rooted in reality. Now, as we further get away from those times where reality was your reality was the majority of your lifestyle. Now, even think about yourself and myself too. As much as we love to attach ourselves to the 80s, 90s before things started to get crazy like this, how much do we honestly engulf in fiction? Like as much as them guys in the 60s, if you had to rate it out of 10, 9 out of 10 was rooted in reality, 1% fiction.
Yeah. And
even us, those who are still rooted back then, like we still exist in probably 60-40 in nonfiction fiction. Yeah. And then as time goes on, generations go on, now you're going to see that scale tip to where they're going to be 80% fiction, 20% reality.
Yeah, yeah. But that's why I'm thankful to have a balance. Balance is everything in this world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like nothing exists without balance in this world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so the fact that we actually were born in a time that allows us to have some, we're young enough to actually be aware of the world around us and be a part of it and participate in it. But we're actually old enough to have come from a time where we just missed being totally engulfed in it. Like, so now that allows us to have that level of balance. And even if we start going into the world, because the world is going to force us to go, If we 60-40 now, the world gonna force us to go 80-20 at some point in time.
Yeah.
But
It is.
Have my roots to fall back on to tell me, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget that's bull. Like, I like having that as a nice foundation. And there are gonna be some people without that foundation.
No, there is people without that foundation to this right now. Right now. Yeah. Like I said, like, think about my kids. Most of their time they spent is on this. And just what you do on your phone, a lot of it is, and I'm not talking about fiction just off of just the fact of a movie character or whatever. No, I'm just talking about things that you can't tangibly manipulate in a sense, like you can't do anything with it. Like you go on Instagram and Snapchat and you use these apps and that becomes like your main life. You get all your information from there. You communicate through that. The people you know, you don't really know. You've only met through, you know what I'm saying, some kind of social media thing. And that interaction, true human interactions going out the window where people feel like we talked about it before, feel more comfortable talking to somebody that they don't even know off the internet. Before that was considered weird. Now it's considered regular life.
And get this, that exists. What you just said, that dynamic exists so much. It's to the point now that people even have to question, oh, is that a clone? Is that person real or not? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talked about Jamie Foxx.
We talked about the Jamie Foxx thing. It should not even be a part of a person's conversation to even think to say that about somebody. But they live in. You think in that's a real thing. Like,
you think in 1995, when Nelson Mandela came back, I don't know if it was 1995, it was like mid-90s or whatever. When Nelson Mandela came back, people were like, yo, nah, man, he was in jail for a long time. I don't know if that's really him. That ain't really Nelson Mandela. Yeah, I know he was down for some years, for some decades. That ain't really that. That's a clone. Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
A clone could have walked up to you in 1995 and you wouldn't, and he'd have had to pull his arm off and show you the electronics inside of him for you to believe he wasn't real. You wouldn't even want to consider that. You're like, man, get out of here, cuz. Like, what you talking about? Like,
like these things. It started in jest. Like we joked about these things about like the basketball players being controlled and Kawhi is not a real human being. He's a robot. He's a what do they call it? An android or whatever. But now, as we're getting further along the line, like these are things that people are really considering a thing. It's not even a joke anymore.
Yeah, these are all actual possibilities for people. You know,
my parents were talking about it. I went to go see my parents last week sometime, and they were even having the discussion whether Jamie Foxx was a clone or real. I'm like, my parents are 61 and 62. I'm like,
you joking?
I mean, they were joking, but the fact that it was part of their conversation.
Yeah. It was shocking to you. Yeah, they something like that. Yeah, that's.
Like my mom was looking at his picture, like, no, he's not a clone. Like, look at this picture, That's still him. He just went through this and this and that, and he was sick and he came back, and so he's gonna look a little different. But like, hold on, my parents are actually having a discussion, a debate,
entertaining it. Yeah.
Even the fact of them entertaining was wild to me. I'm like, yo, that's wild. It's my 60-plus-year-old parents are debating whether Jamie Foxx is a clone or not, and evaluating his pictures. Like, huh?
You know, your dad was always at the forefront of technology, though. Like, he was. Computer guy. In front of everything technical, man. So, you know, I guess, you know, it ain't no shock that he would still be in the loop. You know what I'm saying? I tell you what, though, the average person probably ain't in the loop like he is.
Mm-hmm. He might know some things. I don't know, but
he knows some things. Your pops know if clones exist or not, man. He got that strong military background. He done heard something from the grapevine.
He's been on the technology side in the military
for quite some time, man. He got into other people ain't got, man. You might should have took it serious when he started talking about anything. Like all them jokes me and you made the week before, you should have ignored it. Like, hey, man. That's out the window with me and Jared were talking about. I'm saying it. I need to take it serious, man. What do you know?
You know, some. Hey, leave my pops alone. Y'all watch. But nah, man. I mean, it was just wild just to even hear them entertain that conversation because like it's is really that much of a thing, maybe even a possibility that has traveled that far between generations.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's we, and I said this on maybe two, 3 episodes ago. Like, it's so much information out there, and it's so much going on technology wise that people don't know what to believe anymore. And because of that, we're all going back to thinking for ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and when we go back to think for ourselves, humans ain't evolved that much, man. We still thinking like the Egyptians and stuff, looking in the sky. Hey, man, what is that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe that. Flaming chariot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just use words, you know, to describe stuff, man. Like, hey, that's a dragon. Like, you know, but mythology comes from somebody seeing something they didn't understand back in the day. You know I'm saying, if I had to guess, you know,
and I think it's just our sense of mythology is I think we're going into a heightened now. Before it was lack of information that we had these myths and mythology. Then we went through some kind of Renaissance period, and now we're going through too much information, and now we're going back to that. So it's like,
and man, I don't know. What a time to be alive, I guess. You know.
I don't want too much more though. I want to be sitting on my porch, watching it from a distance.
Nah, bro, you're gonna be sitting on your porch smoking a stick one day, and it's gonna be a traffic jam going on over top of your house, and that's crazy to think about. And you're gonna be like, you just gonna be normal with it.
Hey, it was an accident. I mean, you see that accident up there?
I can see where it got caused that. And you know you got that. You know you got them Galaxy phones that can go to the moon. Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that zoom go to the moon, man. You gonna zoom right on over there on your phone and be like, all right, that's where it started. You know, the cops over there fixing it 10 miles up the street. You know.
I don't know what made me think about this, but you seen that sphere in Vegas?
Mm-mm.
You ain't heard about that?
No, what's going on?
I got to bring you in a loop. So in Vegas, they built this sphere. If I said it right.
Yeah.
Excuse my weird word. Excuse my bold rock. But nah. So it's a sphere, and it's like it creates these images that they can put any kind of image on this sphere, and it just projects whatever. Out in DC, they did this water projection thing where they were doing for soccer, something like that. So where they projected this big, huge holographic image out over the water. And then in Vegas, they do the same thing, like similar thing with this sphere where they put these images, and it's kind of like a huge marble. Like, you remember the marbles from back in the day? Like, it's a huge marble, like half a marble. And they put all of these images, and it just looks wild. It looks crazy. Like, I couldn't imagine driving down the streets of Vegas. Maybe when we go to Vegas, we'll see it. We do for a Vegas trip soon. And I'll be closer.
Should have been this weekend for the fight, man. We should have been there.
Come on now. We should be talking about that, honestly. But but it's just a crazy sight to see. I'm gonna show it to you when we get off here. But it's a wild sight. I can't imagine just driving down the streets of Vegas and seeing this huge sphere. It's really like otherworldly in my opinion, from my viewpoint, from my old eyes. It's like, yo, this shouldn't be allowed on Earth, type of deal. That's what it looks like to me, man. Once we get off, it looks like this should not be a thing.
How long has it been there? Do you know? When they built it?
Maybe a couple months. It's been long.
Okay. But it's live and it's up for everybody. It's running now. It's functional.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to see this thing. It is crazy. It's crazy.
Most definitely. Hey, man, let's get into these cigar reviews, brother.
All right, let's do it.
Hold on, let me go because it's more tension to find out what you got going on with your new change in stick in your palate. For me, this H99 Cigar Privada, Liga Privada Papa Fritas H99 has been a good stick. I opened up with, of course, I said there was a little sweet spicy thing going on. As I continued to smoke, that spice dialed back and it stayed in the background, but it did exist throughout the entire stick, but it existed very pleasant. It was also some earthy notes that I began to pick up on. It is some, I can only describe it as chocolatey notes, but that also goes to the fact that I said I noticed that it was kind of sweet and spicy a little bit also. So that picked up on it. There was something in there that kind of gave me a little bit of a licorice type note on the retro hill, but that's the only way I can think to describe it. But I don't feel like licorice is the most accurate, but that's what's coming to mind. But either way, I did enjoy this stick, man. You know, and I tend to like my little Coronas whenever I get these little petite ones or smaller sticks.
Same.
I'm gonna go with a 4.2 for this right here, man. I enjoyed it.
4.2 for the H99. All right, nice. It's a Liga. So anything that's a Liga, to me, I'm already thinking four or higher. It's hard to get under a 4 with a Liga. So
most definitely.
Kudos to Drew Estate. So EP Carrillo. It's a name I like. It is definitely a name I like. Definitely hasn't been like one of my favorites, top 5 favorites. But it's always a name that I see that I'm like, okay, I see you, EP. Let's go. So I'll go to the complexities of it. So the Maduro wrapper, pleasurable. It definitely kept the cigar even kill, even with the height that it started with a lot of the pepper, spices, harshness in the very beginning. I thought it was going to be a cigar I was going to have to put out, be like, nah, this is not it. This is not the one. But I would say that Maduro wrapper, and I think that's a theory that we've had before, that Maduro wrappers kind of help keep cigars even kill and make them really, really enjoyable throughout the smoke. I would say, like, as far as like the flavors I got off of this guy, a lot of pepper in the very beginning, which did kind of dial back a little bit, but still stayed in there. I got some maple, like a little bit of maple with it, and they came in like towards the tail end of that first third. So that became the most pleasurable part of it. A lot of earth and wood and some cedar too, some cedar in like a back note. So not in the forefront, but like kind of an aroma, and then like on the back of the palate. Kind of weaving in there. So very complex smoke. I would say that. So very complex smoke, but I think that Maduro wrapper helped to stay even kill. It made the pepper not too bad to have to deal with, even though I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. Or maybe I am ready. Maybe it's something I say, hey, look, that pepper hit, but I can quickly adapt to it. And I think that might be it. I might have to test the theory. I might have to go and specifically find a cigar that is known for pepper, known for some harshness, known for some really good spice, and test it out. Because what I'm thinking is my palate's maturing, and I can handle the spice, and I can pick out those complexities and say, okay, this is what I find pleasurable, even with that stronger smoke. So I like it. Not going to rate it in 4s, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.8 to this
3.8. There you go.
3.8 for EP.
Hey, man. Hey, give me a name. Spence Crawford. Who you got? I got Spence. No breakdown. Just give me a name. We got 30 seconds.
All right, Crawford.
There we go. One of us going to be wrong when y'all see this posted. Hey, that was this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast, man. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a good one. We out.
You guys up.